right, I'm gonna give you guys a demo on mixing paints. So I have in front of me, I have a paper towel, I have my water cup, I have a variety of brushes that I'll use later, and I've got some paints. Now you're not gonna need this many colors because you're only gonna be working with 4. You'll have your 2 complements and then white and black. But I wanted to show you all of the colors getting mixed just so you can see what to expect when you mix your colors. Now I also have my palette knife, which is very helpful. So when you guys mix colors, it's best not to grab the paint with your brush bristles because your brush bristles are really good at soaking up paint and holding on to it, so you'll end up kind of wasting paint. So your palette knife is really good for this, okay? So I'm gonna start off with my orange, so I'm just gonna bring a little bit. You're gonna wanna mix your paints on a fresh area. You don't wanna just put colors into your orange or white or whatever, because that's an easy way to waste paint, okay? So let's just clean this off, okay? Because you don't wanna get the orange into your other colors. And we can start it off by adding white, okay? So I added a good amount of white, but white needs some help sometimes. So you can see I'm just taking my palette knife, scraping it, kind of making sure everything is fully mixed, okay? You wanna make sure you have all the colors you're using mixed up well before you paint, okay? And I'm just making a little swatch for you guys so you can see. Okay, we have like this orange sherbet color. Okay, whenever you're not using a paintbrush that you've already put paint on, you wanna make sure you clean it off really well and get the paint off of it, because the paint we're using is acrylic, and acrylic is plastic. Thus, when acrylic paint dries, it really messes up your bristles if you have paint on it still. So make sure to clean it off, okay? So I'm grabbing a little bit of this sherbet and I'm gonna put a little bit more white paint. And honestly, this is kind of an easy way to get different colors for your project, okay? So, you know, mix up one, paint it in an area, make sure it looks good. Take that same bit of paint and add more of whatever you're adding to it. Okay, so I get the white, okay? So I'm just mixing it up, making sure it looks really good, really scraping it, okay? Until it's all cohesive, okay? I'll put that down, all right? Then I'll take my brush so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, there's that. And if you're really lazy, you can just leave your brush in your water cup, but it's kind of bad for your bristles, so try not to, okay? Let's add just a little bit more white so you guys can see more variety, okay? And then we'll experiment and see what happens when we add our complement to our color. Okay, so I'm making sure it's really mixed up. Scraping it up. All that good stuff. Okay. A little swatch for y'all. All right, so what happens to a color if we add its complement? So orange's complement is blue. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some orange paint from my palette. Okay, I'll put it over here. I'm gonna start off with just a little bit of blue. Okay, just a teeny weeny bit. Okay, we're gonna mix that up. You see how it tones down that orange, right? And we're creating a brown, basically. So the more you add a color's complement to that pigment or that hue, the more brown it's gonna get when we tone down. okay? A nice warm brown. So I'm mixing it up really well. Make sure everything's done. So you guys can see this, okay? So there's that, okay? Now let's see what happens when I add even more blue to it, okay? So let me clean off my palette some. Okay, just a little bit of blue. See, it almost starts to have a bluish tinge to it, okay? Okay, we're all mixed up. And then, you know, we've got this extra light orange on our palette. We can use that too, okay? We're just seeing what happens when we mix, okay? So we can go ahead and grab this orange and this and see what happens. Have some fun. Actually end up with a pretty decent skin tone color. So keep that in mind if you're ever doing a portrait. Orange and blue, who knew? Well, and white. Can give you pretty good skin tone. That one's also good skin tone too. Okay. Mix it all up. Okay. And you have that kind of toned down color. Now, when you add black to a color, black is it's pretty powerful. So don't add too much. So again, I'm just grabbing some of my orange. Now, I'm just doing teeny weeny little bit, okay? I'm mixing it up really well. Scraping it. Make sure we're really combined. Okay, you can see it really darkened that orange, okay? That's also really good skin tone. Okay, so that's, you know, some variety of oranges you can have if you choose to have orange in your project. Let me show you what happens when you add orange to blue. Okay, so I've got a scoop of blue. Clean that off a little bit. I'm gonna scoop up a little bit of orange. Now, orange isn't as powerful on the blue as the blue is on the orange, okay? But mix it up really well, okay? It helps tone down the blue. So let me show you the original blue, and then we'll compare that with the orange blue. Here's the original blue. Okay. A little watered down because of the brush, but okay. And then here's the blue we just made with the orange. So you can see it tones it down. So if you ever have colors that are too in your face, you can just add their complement, okay? So let me just show you the other combos and their complements being added to them, just so you have an idea of what they look like, okay? Flip this over. All right, now we have a couple different greens. Okay, we have this green, which is more of a cool green. You can add its red to it. Now red is really powerful. You don't need a whole lot. You can see here, I just put a teeny bit of red and it completely took over, okay? It almost made it kind of a purpley color. Okay, so you might wanna like go back in and not grab more red, grab more green. Okay, now we have a variety of greens over there. This is the phthalo green, so it's a little bit more cool. So if you like that look, you know, go for it. But this is phthalo, with a little bit of red in it. Okay. All right. Now, you can also use the emerald green, which is this one. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit warmer. Okay. We're just gonna get a teeny weeny, teensy little bit of red. Okay, these are gonna have more of a toned down effect. The emerald green does. So I recommend the emerald green as opposed to the phthalo green. Okay, so it kind of tones down your green, okay? It's not as purpley as the phthalo, okay? And then, you know, because red is so strong, you don't need a ton of red when you need it toned down. So here's the red. I'm gonna use that emerald green. All right. That'd make a great lipstick color. Okay. You go from that really bright red to something almost like grapes, okay? And then last but not least, our yellow and purple. So purple has red in it, okay? So it's not gonna take a whole lot of purple to change your yellow, okay? So I just put a little bit of purple in there, and that toned it down, okay? Fully combined. All right, and then you can add, you know, more purple to this to see what yellow does in turning down purple. So the more you get to like 50-50, the more of like a brown you're gonna get. Okay. And then we can add more purple if you wish, okay? And then this is more of a muted purple we've got going on here. So just make sure when you're mixing colors, use that palette knife to really combine your colors. Make sure when you're mixing colors to just grab paint from the colors that you have and then mix it in a new spot, because that helps save your paint. And as you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot of paint to get what you're looking for. So don't get too much paint when you are getting ready at the beginning of class, because a little bit goes a long way.